ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Shrikant coming to you live from India's startup capital, Bengaluru. It's a very stormy and rainful evening right here in Bengaluru, and let's take it to the first story that we have on the show this evening. We've spoken about the big e-commerce giant Flipkart, but what about India's original king of organized retail, Kishore Biyani? There's been talk in the last couple of days that he's been talking to the likes of Walmart and Amazon for a possible stake sale. So is that going to be the next big thing on M&A Street? How much is Kishore Biyani selling and to whom? My colleague Sonali Krishna caught up with him earlier today just to find out what Kishore Biyani's plans are and which global giant he's collaborating with. Let's listen into what Kishore Biyani had to say.
I think it's a big deal. It's a welcome deal. It's an interesting deal. And physical retailer buying a digital retailer, and both the online offline coming together. And I think many things to come. I think it's a beginning of a new dawn of retail in a way.
Right.
And I think every passing day will make it more interesting.
Yeah, having said that, this is really Walmart's much awaited breakthrough in India. And, a lot of people are looking and analyzing as to how this Walmart's backdoor entry, as everybody's calling it. I want to ask you, do you think it's their backdoor entry?
Firstly, it's for me, the way I look at it is it's a financial investors were there in this before Walmart came in, and now it's moved to a strategic investor.
Right.
Flipkart continues the way it is.
Right.
Flipkart has built its own strength in terms of logistics. They have built its strength around multiple categories, I would say consumer durables, electronics, mobile phones, and they have made a headway into fashion in a significant manner.
Okay.
And that's something which they have done. I think 5 to 7 crore customers who have been shopping with them, and it is a reasonably good brand in the country. Now from there, Walmart doesn't belong to this category as much.
That's true.
And the categories they belong to is general merchandise. The categories they belong to is food and grocery. I think that's something which will probably come in and seep in into this. So one has to see how this whole thing will come together, and that probably will change. Currently, I don't see it as currently Flipkart CDIT business doesn't create loyalty of a customer.
Of course.
We don't see a membership. Yeah. We don't see a financial services play here. We don't see a payment play here yet. I think the world is moving towards building ecosystems, ecosystems of commerce, ecosystem of owning your own brands, ecosystem of logistics, ecosystems of payments, ecosystem of financial services, ecosystem of entertainment, and ecosystems of multiple travel services and other services. So I believe it's a beginning. And
beginning of what? Can you define that?
Beginning of a building up of an ecosystem. Okay. I think there are pieces lying here and there. There will be alliances which will get formed. There is an alliance of Alphabet and Google being talked about. I believe there will be multiple alliances which will get formed, and the first India's ecosystem will get built.
When you have made a statement that you were in conversation with investors, global investors, are you only discussing financial inclusion? I mean, is that the only sort of discussion you're having?
I think for us it's more about strengthening our balance sheet. It's not about what they are going to offer us. Imagine what will somebody else offer us. You can't buy 50% of my company. I can't sell off legally. Yeah. So what else can I offer? I can give them more than what they can give me.
So are you then also in conversation with Walmart as an independent partner?
I think we know everyone. We have met everyone. We discuss everything with everyone. But I don't think so we are on a transaction with anybody at the moment.
At the moment. What will it take to get you to a transaction?
I can't discuss all these things.
Okay, Kishore Biyani there keeping his cards very close to his chest, not revealing yet what the game plan is going to be, just saying that he's in conversation with everyone, also saying that this will be a minority stake since FDI and multi-brand retail is not allowed. It cannot be a majority buyout, and that Future Group has more to offer than the investor. But that's Kishore Biyani for you, not really giving anything away on whether it's going to be Walmart or Amazon. But sticking with Flipkart, there is a twist in the tale, and guess what? One of their biggest investors, SoftBank, SoftBank is still undecided on selling their 20 to 22% stake in the company. Now, this comes just 2 days after Walmart came out and said that they are going to buy 77% in Flipkart. The 77% obviously factored in a 22% stake that SoftBank would sell to Walmart, in effect exiting the company. But from what we gather at this point, SoftBank is still undecided, primarily because of two reasons. The first being that, remember, SoftBank entered Flipkart only last year. So exiting now with a 4 billion return compared to the 2.5 that it put in last year would have huge implications in terms of short-term capital gains tax. And the second factor being that SoftBank still sees some upside when it comes to Flipkart, and they see value in staying in this investment for some more time. So that's the twist in the tail. We do not know what SoftBank is going to ultimately do. Will they retain perhaps 10%, offload another 10%? Various options are on the table, but SoftBank is expected to take a final call in the next 7 to 10 days. But remember, even outside of this, Walmart retains a majority stake in Flipkart, because even if SoftBank decides to stay on, they will have a 55% control of Flipkart, so they will be a majority shareholder. So that's the latest for you as far as that Flipkart twist in the tail is concerned. But moving on to an exclusive voice we have on the show this evening. He heads up PhonePe, which of course is Flipkart's payment business. Sameer Nigam, one of Flipkart's top executives, the co-founder and CEO of PhonePe, joins us all the way from Barcelona right here on ET Now Startup Central. This is his first interview after the mega Flipkart Walmart deal was announced. Sameer, thank you so much for giving us this big exclusive interview, your first after the mega deal was announced. What's your own first take about the Flipkart Walmart deal now that it's official?
We're obviously very excited about the Flipkart Walmart deal. It's a first of its kind in many ways for the Indian ecosystem. I think the biggest validation of the fact that Indian companies can truly build what can be a very, very sizable opportunity on a global landscape. The fact that this is the largest investment in a private e-commerce company globally is testament to the fact that execution at a domestic level will win. At PhonePe, we are very excited because everything we've sort of heard and seen from the Walmart team gives us the confidence that we match on core values and culture, which is, I think, the most important in long-term partnerships. They're an extremely humble company. They're a very ambitious company. But I think most of all, they put the customer first and foremost. And that's something that we sort of lived and died by at Flipkart. And that's something that at PhonePe as well, we're trying to inculcate every day of the job. So we look forward to actually partnering with Walmart in the long run and having a strategic partner that gives us both global learnings and access to capital on a continuous basis.
Sameer, what kind of push do you expect this deal to give to your own offline payments business? Because that has been a huge focus area for you. So what sort of shot in the arm do you expect to your offline payments business as a result of this transaction?
Yeah, I think Walmart coming in as a strategic investor really helps us because obviously they are the world's largest offline retailer. They have learnings across every relevant market in the world, and that'll really help us also sort of accelerate our growth in the offline business, an area that we're looking at investing in deeply in 2018 onwards. They also have a good footprint in the offline market here in India, through which we can learn how various segments' needs are to be met, and gives us a good entry point to try and also experiment ourselves with our solutions in the market. Overall, yeah, it's going to be an exciting year.
Sameer, will you also be targeting small and medium enterprises that currently supply to Walmart's cash and carry stores in India? A lot of people are talking about the synergies here in terms of the digitization of their payment network that, is possibly a big window for you, a big opportunity for you. So is that something that you will look to do in the near term? Target SMEs who are already working with Walmart's cash and carry stores in India, who are supplying to Walmart's cash and carry stores?
Yes, we have discussed with Walmart about actually helping all of their SME merchants, especially the Kirana stores, get digitized and sort of build out first digital payment solutions, but then thereafter actually jointly work on a suite of value-added services for these Kirana stores, POS solutions, inventory management, CRM solutions, and beyond. I think this is the most attractive opportunity in the Indian market. We have almost 50 million small to medium-sized enterprises that are not on the digital landscape today, and building solutions very focused on that segment is something that we want to do, and we're going to be very focused on both from an R&D operation standpoint as well as an operating standpoint. So again, a lot of joint experimentation, a lot of shared learnings that we'll bring to the table.
Samir, will you also be looking to take some of these learnings global? Is this a global opportunity for PhonePe in a sense? Because, UPI is something very unique to India. It's been made for India. It's worked for India. So in terms of the learnings that you've seen here in the payment space, in the merchant space, is this an opportunity for PhonePe to go global in a sense?
We have met with the Walmart leadership team, especially on the technology and product side on the online team. And there's definitely an opportunity to sort of take our learnings on the payment side in India and share it with their global technology teams. Walmart has Walmart Pay, which is one of the largest sort of wallets, if you may, in the world. But they've not made it semi-closed. It's not usable outside of the Walmart network of stores today. So there's definitely a lot of sort of learnings that we've had operating in the Indian market that we think are extensible abroad. And when the right time and opportunity presents itself, we might actually look at taking PhonePe international as well, along with Walmart. That's something that's definitely up for grabs.
Samir, stay on with us. We're going to take a short break at this point and come back with more. And on the other side of the break, we'll also be addressing, the investments this week through our Friday funding meter, as well as those important flashes on your screen on Facebook responding to the government of India's concerns on data breach. All those important stories coming up on the other side of this break. Take a break and come back for ET Now Startup Central. Welcome back to ET Now Startup Central. We still have Samir Nigam of PhonePe with us, joining us all the way from Barcelona. Samir, PhonePe found prominent mention in the Walmart investor call where the management of Walmart says that they hope to learn from Facebook's tech as well as the open payment system it's built. So in the last few months, as Walmart and Flipkart were negotiating this deal, doing the due diligence, have these discussions come up often on how Walmart plans to collaborate with PhonePe going forward as a result of this deal with Flipkart?
As I mentioned, yes, we have had several rounds of discussions with the Walmart team in terms of technology sharing, learning, sharing best practices, customer needs, merchant needs, how those play out differently in different geographies. So I think Doug was kind in his market call in terms of referring to us as a large opportunity. I think the one thing that the Walmart team really appreciated was our vision to create India's largest open ecosystem. There's ecosystems of this kind in China already with Tencent and Alipay. And I think India definitely deserves one or more open ecosystems at scale, because for small to medium-sized businesses or small online merchants, the ability to actually reach a very vast audience in terms of distribution and marketing dollars is actually unviable at times. And if you have super apps, as they're getting called now, that allow free access to everybody to a large transacting consumer base, then everybody wins. The consumers don't have to install multiple applications. They can avail of the best-in-class services across a very wide array of categories using PhonePe. And as long as we are able to innovate continuously on the technology and product side of things, we should be able to continuously increase the stickiness to the platform as well by adding more merchants, by integrating more offline stores, by providing consumers way more interesting payment options, whether it's credit, whether it's lending, whether it's product insurance, and so on. So that's definitely going to be something that we collaborate on quite a bit as we move along with the Walmart team.
Finally, Sameer, before I let you go, just give us some data on where PhonePe stands today in terms of volume, transactions, and the number of locations you're present in.
In terms of transaction volumes, we are now pan-India, obviously have been since day one because of the rails that we ride on, which is UPI. We are now India's largest transaction platform in digital payments by TPV, or the total value that we're processing every day. Got into the pole position a couple of months back, and we will make sure that we don't sort of lose that position from here on. In terms of transaction volumes, we're doing about 2 to 2.5 million transactions a day. Our first national brand campaign launched a couple of months back and has been really successful in expanding our consumer base. It's been well received. So we will keep pushing hard to actually grow that number. We are about 1/4 the size of the market leader right now, and our goal is to actually take market leadership in the next 24 to 36 months, and be substantially large in terms of the value being processed on the platform. Also, I think in terms of strategy, our goal was to actually reach leadership position on value process first, because value speaks to consumer confidence in a platform, and it's very important to establish that before you go for scale. So that's been playing out pretty well for us.
Thanks so much for talking to us, Sameer. Clearly look forward to chatting with you when PhonePe achieves that market leadership position. But thank you again so much for taking out time all the way from Barcelona and joining us on Startup Central. With that, we move on to our next segment. This is something that we address every Friday evening. We are calling it our Friday Funding Meter, with the data from Venture Intelligence, where they tell us who raised what this week. Now, this week, if you set aside the Flipkart Walmart deal, it's been a decent week. 7 deals altogether worth $105 million. If you look at some of the top VC deals, you have Bira 91, which has raised $50 million. You have Innovasa, which has raised $25 million. And you have Avamo, which has raised $14 million. So these are some of Rashi, these are some of the numbers that we've raised. In terms of the top exit, if you look at it, Flipkart investors, of course, that's the major exit. They've pocketed about healthy returns via Walmart's $16 billion takeover. So if you look at some of the exits that investors have made, Naspers has made a 3.6x return, SoftBank has made 1.6x, Tiger Global has made 4x, and this doesn't even count Axel, which made a mega return on its $1 million investment more than 10 years back. Of course, subsequently, they have invested in subsequent rounds. The other top exit, of course, is Smash, which listed on NASDAQ via a reverse merger. So these are some of the big deals to look forward to from the Friday Funding Meter. Apart from that, if you look at angel investments, we saw about 5 versus 3 in the previous week. And if you look at this week's numbers compared to the previous week, it's actually better off, because the previous week saw about 8 deals worth $59 million. So, even outside Flipkart, Walmart, it's been a decent set of numbers. But remember, once the Flipkart fund flow starts, it usually has a ripple effect. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of the deal action flowing into smaller startups. But with that, we have to move on to another important story. And this is a story that broke just a while back. It has to do with Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, because Facebook has responded to government's queries on data breach and data security. In its response to the government, Facebook has given them steps on the measures that they've taken to protect consumer data. So they've outlined some of the recent steps that they've done in terms of privacy settings, in terms of options, in terms of empowering users to really identify gaps and address privacy settings. They've also thanked the government for the opportunity to really lay out all these clarifications. But remember, the government was also planning to, I think, summon Facebook. We haven't heard much on that. However, there's been no response from Cambridge Analytica yet. So that's the latest we have from Facebook as far as that government queries are concerned. But on that note, completely out of time on this Friday edition of ET Now Startup Central. But if you're in Bangalore tomorrow and you have a voter ID, ensure you go out and vote. That's it from me. Tune in to ET Now for more news and updates.